boys is getting quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through 4-4 steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it, cause we gotta finish. Nebraska Horn Hustlers, man, we diminished. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends. Holla at Coach Sumlin, holla at the Stoops. Let me sit sideways in the two-door coupe. Cause I'm sitting clean, foes on the lean. Look at my pants, got a sag in my jeans. Let me sit sideways cause I'm steady coming. PT throwing that ball, let us humming. I'ma gon' catch it, I'ma gon' wretch it. Man, I'm sitting sideways, boy, shoulder naked today.
All right. Welcome to Fullback U. Got 3 All-Americans with me, man. Blessed to just have my brothers with me, Derrick Strait, Roy Williams, and Rufus Alexander. First of all, appreciate y'all being around. We're gonna start out. We just played the Malcolm Kelly freestyle, so y'all got to let me know, man, which bar line, Strait, you can start it off. Which line of the Malcolm Kelly freestyle hits you the hardest?
The whole thing, really, though, because it's it's a Texas thing, and the way we get down and the way we rap and all of that. So it's just the feeling and emotion of the flow of how he felt about the whole OU, everything, about beating Nebraska, everybody, you know what I'm talking about?
What you think, Roy?
I actually was in the league when that was going on, and I was like, man, that is most definitely Texas Southern draw right there. You know, South Side, Big Mo, and
all of that,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So, I mean, the whole flow was pretty cool, you know what I mean? It just shows you OU's excitement, you know what I'm saying, of how we get down and how we come, the camaraderie in the locker room. So, I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah. What you think, Ruth?
I mean, for me, was the whole PT throwing the ball and this humming. That was like the PT. Been through a whole lot that whole entire year because the year before that got, put on as a wide receiver. They put Bo Morris, made him the chosen one. He had to come back without doing anything all summer, quarterback-wise, and take the team all the way to a Big 12 championship. So, PT name being in that was kind of, I think, even like the bigger thing, the bigger story out of all of it because of just everything he had to go through just to be the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. After being benched by Bomar, he could have just left. I think he would have been in the portal if it was like this the way it is now. He would be in the portal because that boy PT could play quarterback, and he had one of the quickest releases as a quarterback. So that line right there kind of hit home with everybody in the locker room too.
So I got to let everybody know we call this show Fullback U, and that's no disrespect to none of y'all. Y'all are my brothers, man. But why I did this show, see, Roy's already laughing. He already know, man. We both wore 38, you know what I'm saying? But y'all 3 are All-Americans, and I'm not. So what do y'all think about fullbacks not being All-American? And here's the thing. I know Strait and Roof are going to hopefully, they were around me, so I know they really, really got my back. But Roy, I backed up with 38, so I had to make it known that I was a hard hitter. But Strait, what do you think about us fullbacks, man?
I respect it. Like you said, it's fullbacking is something that you got to go up there and buckle up your chin strap and take your ass out there to go make some. You know what I mean? Your job is to hit somebody basically. And nowadays, the way they throwing people out of games and all this other stuff, it's kind of difficult. But at the same time, on the fullback side, you be the one get to deliver the blows.
Yeah, Roy, what you got?
I feel like it kind of hurt.
Straight up. I'm hurt. No, listen. You want to know what hurts the most? I'm gonna be 1,000% real with you. Is when you see it in the newspaper and somebody says former All-American Roy Williams. Man, they just say JD. It's just JD Runnels. And I'm like, damn.
Let them know you're an athlete and you sensitive about this shit.
Absolutely.
You're emotional about this.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, I honestly don't feel like fullbacks get enough, credit because, I mean, honestly, the fullback is, most definitely they're playing like 3 positions at one. You know what I'm saying? They're honestly, no disrespect when I say this, they're like a lineman because they got to block. They got to get in their trenches. They got to chip block, D-ends, whatnot. And then, you know what I'm saying, you got to pass protect, you got to lead block, you got to catch the ball off the backfield, and you got to run with the ball. You know what I mean? They don't most definitely get enough credit. And I mean, it's a very underappreciated, not appreciative position on the football field.
Ruf was my warrior brother. We had plenty of these battles, so I know Ruf is my dog.
Hey, I mean, it's just they're the ultimate utility guy on offense. They're that guy that go out there and, I mean, like Roy said, the blocking, the running, and you have to pass protect, all that stuff. And then I remember as a freshman, JD coming in and putting boys down.
Yeah, I always used to hate facing JD out in the flats because I knew either we was gonna bang or he gonna slip me and go out for the little pass. So it was like shit.
And I remember my freshman year, man, he put a few guys out. He put a few guys out, get that fat pad on their shoulder because you have to lean in on that power. When they running that power and JD coming out to kick you out, and you have to be a different type of person to do that over and over again. And I watched JD put what's old boy name from Derrick Johnson for Texas, put him in the fetal position, coming out there lead blocking. I watch him do it over and over again, and I watch him make that man fold in a game where a fullback would come to the hole and he would go for his legs, put him out of the game. I mean, that's what a fullback does to a linebacker. And coached by BV, I mean, he was telling you, middle linebacker, will linebacker, y'all hit him head on. Both of y'all supposed to put him in the backfield. And shit. Boy, JD.
Hey,
I got him on your own. Whoever he hit.
Yeah.
To retweet what he said, man, I had to earn it through BV. And something that Strait said in college, somebody asked him, who's harder to guard, Rashawn Woods or Roy Williams? And he says, Mark Clayton. And I firmly believe Strait because, man, I knew what practice was like going against BV and inside, Mike Stoops and those guys. Roy smiling already. I already know. Because them insides was no joke. And y'all defense, man, and we need to hit on that just, then versus now, just if you guys are close to the team as well, just if the practices are the same way. But we'll get into that. But I want to give our sponsor a shout out. Our sponsor is Chris Hammonds. So, do you have a funny ham-bone story, D. Straight?
Nah, just covering him because he's big. He was all in college. He was big and hefty, so he wasn't no shuck and jive. He was gonna grab you, move you out the way. If I got him, he on the end of the line, so I gotta defend everything. So I'm like, don't put your hands on him. Just let him do his move and run off and just cover him and leave him alone because. If he got the ball anywhere in his vicinity, he was catching it, though. Yeah.
Roy, I know you knew Hambone pretty well. What you think?
Hambone, the homie, man. I respected the hell out of Hambone, man. More than anything, I was fucking scared of that.
Yeah.
He had that look in his eye like he's an ex-con, like he didn't kill somebody before.
On the way to, like, right?
I don't think but one of y'all's old strength coaches, Jason Bushers, had a great quote about Hambone, just talking about how, and no disrespect, Roy, no disrespect, but his quote, it wasn't me that said it, but his quote was, the 2000 team may not have out-athleted everybody, but they'll meet you behind a dark alley and whoop your ass. I mean, straight up. I mean, so, and he said, Hambone.
We got those dogs. We wasn't no 5-star,
none of that.
4-star. We were all some blue-collar workers.
Yeah.
Transitioning to new positions and everything.
The thing about it, my freshman year, I forgot what game it was, and I watched D. Straight on punt team. It was punt return, right? It was punt return.
You probably
it was punt return. Yeah. And that dude got one of the gunners coming out, smashed him, and got over the top of him. I'm a dog.
Yeah.
Good. Like the dude was trying to get up, and he said, "Man, stay down. I'm a dog." I was like, I remember that as a true freshman, watching him do that to another guy is just like something that I wanted to play with. And that's what the guys that did before me, like with Book, would come out there. Yeah. He was the same way, man. And it was all those guys. I never had the privilege to play with Roy, but man, watching those guys play, I can only imagine what it was like playing with you guys, especially after hearing the stories of what y'all went through in '99 to get to 2000.
See, that was my point. It was like when I came in, I was like, they had already did what they did in '99, so it was like, shit, what you gonna do? You a redshirt freshman, you know what I mean? It's like they already got something established already because we had just won like 7-8 games to the Independence Bowl and whatnot. So it was like, shit, all right, I'm gonna start. But it ain't good enough just to start. Just because you young, you fresh, it ain't good enough to start. You got to hold your own because they expecting you to. You know what I mean? It ain't like, but they was older. Like you said, it's better to play with older people that's out there because you know what to expect. and I always knew what to expect with Roy, Rocky, Torrance. All of them boys was out. CC, all of them was out there. They was all older, but they had already been through the wars and all of that shit. So it was like, we don't need no weak link out here. We need you to come in and play your part so we can sew up the rest of the defense and that shit. That's what we went out there and pretty much did.
Let's go through it. Where are they now? If a fan comes up to you straight and asks you, where are they now? What do you tell them? Where are you at now?
I'm in Oklahoma City right now, getting into real estate. That's why I'm moving back to Texas again. But I'm trying to get real estate up here in Oklahoma and in Texas right now.
What about you, Roy?
Yeah, I've been living back in Oklahoma about 8 years now. Started a security company. We got over 1,000 employees. We operate in about 20 states. Turned one security company into 4 other companies. We have 2 safety companies, Global 7 EH&S, Environmental Health and Safety, and then we have a drug testing company, and I own a camera company as well. So I'm just keeping my head down, man.
Being Superman.
Yeah, not to mention he played a little football
right,
too. So,
yeah.
That's all.
Superman being Superman. Throwing the cape on.
That's it.
Yeah. What about you, Ruth?
Man, I'm doing insurance, man. Clocking it in, one house, one car, one business at a time, making it happen. And the other thing I do is do sideline for OU. Get to go to all the home and away games and just get to kind of stay around the team. So just little stuff like that.
So let's talk, everybody. Let's get to it. Everybody want to hear about the defense. How do you feel, Strait? How do we fix this? So if you want, let's just start about last year. How you feel about last year? What do you think going forward?
Last year was last year. That's what I'm gonna leave at that. Shit, we just gonna leave that right there. Last year was last year, but really, I think young guys was out there making plays, but you got to string them all in the same row, and y'all got to be on the same page. So I think hopefully once this year, Grinch come in and get them all on the same page, and then boys can get out there and play fast instead of thinking so much. Then everything should be better. Hopefully,
Roy, you were close to the team. What you think? You were at every home game, I believe. I don't know if you went to the away games.
By default.
By default, okay.
we did all the security for the parking lots. It's kind of sad because it's like, man, everybody was wanting Mike's head, and wanting him out. But it's like when you watch the players play, in the first part of the season, they played very hard. They played well. And then, I don't know at what point why there was a drop off, but it was a drop. Big 12 is a totally different beast now from what it was back when I was there. And you create a lot of mismatches, and then yes, I was up at the practices and sitting in the meetings, and then when for me, when I'm watching film and I'm like, okay, asking Coach, hey, what's his coverage? And they're like, yeah, he's a deep third. I'm not gonna say no names, but to say you're a deep third and you shouldn't be getting beat deep, and you're getting beat deep, and then I go up to him and it's like, hey, why'd you get beat? Why you playing one? Why you playing man? And getting, and you're supposed to be in 3 and you're getting beat deep, or why are you even out jamming and you're supposed to be in a 3 deep zone, and I'm just, things just don't make sense, It's just the day and age now of the kids that are getting recruited. It's a what can you do for me mentality. More of it's more of a privilege to be able to suit up and be a Sooner, and I feel that. Going back to the statement of having, older guys, it's tough to have older guys because older guys, they have this mentality now of, doing it the wrong way. They're not doing it the right way right now. And I don't know if Coach Grinch can come in and turn it around and, get them. And it's not even playing. It is all about playing on the same page, but at the same time, it's about, what you have inside your chest. It's all about your heart. And I feel that some of those guys, and it's no disrespect, I just feel that they don't have that it right now. And it's not their athletic ability, it's about that, I'm playing national televised TV and I'm okay with getting embarrassed. I'm not okay with that. I'm sorry. I'm not okay with cool. No, it's not cool. I don't feel that when you suit up and you're ready to play on national televised TV and you're getting embarrassed and you're just smiling on the sideline. You know what I mean?
always led by example. I never was one to, open my mouth and cuss somebody out, but, you know what I'm saying? Except for a meeting.
Don't get Rufus started.
Except for a meeting, but...
We're going to talk about that, don't worry.
But at the same time, it's just like, it's like, at what point are you going to get tired of being embarrassed in a playoff game and getting exposed? You know what I mean? There was one guy that tried to make a tackle and he was unsuccessful and he got hurt. And I was talking to him the week before the practice, and I'm like, dude, this is how you need to. It's like when you're breaking down somebody how to tackle. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason in hell, unless you just that much bigger than them. You know what I mean? There's no reason to hit somebody up high because you're going to get ran over. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Your target needs to be kneecap. You know what I'm saying? Shin or ankle. That's where your target needs to be. You don't need to be. You're not that strong to be trying to hit somebody up high when they're running at you full speed. You're going to get ran over. And and it's just how you try to tell and try to teach people and, tell them how to do it, and they don't do it, and then they end up getting hurt. You know what I mean? Then you're just like, dude, you're not coachable. And, and it's just sad. I mean, I hope that Coach Grinch and those guys can get it turned around. And I hope the guys understand that it's not acceptable to, look like trash in a nationally televised game.
I think at the end of the day, they got to stop being their friends too. I mean, there's a lot of tiptoeing around people's feelings and stuff, and people getting in their feelings, and a lot of arguing back with coaches, and you see that. That's why they had to put Mike up in the box, because he was just a different guy. He was so used to coaching other guys where he could really just dive in, and the guys take the coaching and go out there, and then they respond. And now kids they don't respond to that. They just go the opposite direction. They just shut down, and they get in the game, and they come back to the sideline and just kind of throw their hands up. I try to do what you said do. Yeah. And that's kind of like the way it is. I mean, watching y'all can speak for the secondary, but I mean, watching the linebackers, I've never seen a group of guys that were so poor with their technique and so unaware of what's happening when a guy motion, when a guy moves. We was so trained and so coached to, like, if they do this is going to happen. If this happens, we go to this. If that happens, we know this they're going to do one or two things. And now it's just not like that. I watch, young men go in there and they get cut block. I mean, if an offensive lineman come at him, those guys are on the ground. If they go to cut block him now, all linemen on the ground. I went back and I watched a play they had Dusty up there. We played against UCLA, and they ran a zone against Dusty.
He killed it.
They tried a one block.
He killed it.
They tried to get him with one guy. I mean, he took the center and put him in the backfield, but what they didn't see was the other guys, the linebackers. Mm-hmm. One, a guard tried to cut me, played the cut block. I was there to make the tackle if Dusty missed it. Zach Latterman was front side. He already had hit the gap downhill, so the guy couldn't cut him, and he already dipped and ripped, so he was there to make the tackle. Then on the backside, the defensive end had already shuffled down and broke down, so the guy bounced back and cut back the other way. He was there, so everything was squeezed. Yeah. And you saw the technique and how defenses played beautifully, and now you don't even see that anymore. You just kind of see a bunch of guys on the ground, or guys kind of out there doing their own thing, playing for themselves. And playing football, what I learned when I got to OU was it's about doing your job and counting on the other guy to do his job. Yeah. And what was so beautiful about BV and Mike's defense is when somebody was out the gap, they know exactly who to go to. Yeah. If it went through the C gap, who got the C gap? Where he at? Who got that look?
You're right about that.
Yeah. If a pirate happened and that somebody cut back and ran through the C gap, linebacker was getting his ass chewed no matter what. And he's coming from the sideline, and that person making a beeline for BV because his eyes are wide and he know where the ball went and why it went that way and what you wasn't looking at. Yeah. And now these guys come to the sideline. They don't know what happened. They don't know who to go to. You can ask the guy what happened. He don't know what happened. He don't know where the block came from. I watched Kenneth Murray get killed by a guard, and the dude didn't even know it was coming. I mean, bro, and I'm looking at the sideline, so you don't even see this guard coming, and boom, clean him up on the ground. I was like, ooh, well, you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna learn the hard way, and it was against Tulane. I think it was against UTEP. That big guard from UTEP hit him in the mouth so hard, I was like, man, I don't know if he's going to make it the whole season. You ain't going to be taking that guy on like that, man. And I don't think these guys are learning or putting it or translate when they seen on film and putting it out there and putting it on the field. It's just not. It's not even mixing together at all. It hasn't even clicked for them yet.
Straight talk about the Mike Stoops firing, and then if you don't mind, I will run it through each one of y'all. But talk about your defensive coordinators in the NFL, who you had at the Jets. You came to spend some time with me in Chicago. Just your pro football D coordinators.
Yeah, with Mike, because the thing about Mike is, it's not. He's just a fiery dude. He's gonna yell. He's gonna do all of that. But it ain't the way that he's saying. It's what he's saying to you that what should matter. And once you listen to what he's saying and go out and do what he's trying to tell you to do, it don't matter how he said the shit. But when he said it and you go out and do that, then everything will be all right. Everything always worked out in that kind of way. And it was, it was sad to see him go. But at the end of the day, you felt like they needed to make a change, and they did. And shit in the league, what was it? Coach Rivera, he was a defensive. I had him when I was in Carolina, but in Chicago.
Yeah, he's in Chicago too. Who'd you have with the Jets?
With the Jets,
was it Rex Ryan?
No, it was Donnie Henderson.
That's right.
I remember when he went to the Jets, he played cover 2.
Donnie Henderson. Yeah,
straight gonna do. I was like, you killing cover 2.
They had me on the inside then, though. That's why I was like, shit, all right, it was different. You know what I'm talking about? But it was fun as fuck, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it was moving and shaking.
Roy, what you think? Mike and your pro coordinators.
I was sad to see him go. I was more sad the fact. I was disappointed on him being let go in the middle of the season. Yeah. I felt like he should have had he should have been treated. He deserved better than getting to let go in the middle of the season. But after taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, Ruffin was already there. They brought Dablo in, and they had Mike. You know what I'm saying? It was so looking at it, it's like, man, you only had one bad game and you gone. You know what I mean? It was like it was already set up, but you're about to get backfilled. But like Strait said, I mean, it's not. Mike was a fiery guy.
Because he yelled and cussed at everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Everything.
I mean, everybody. There was people getting hit with friendly fire too. You know what I mean? Everybody got it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But what I told the young guys before the season, this year and last year, was it's like to better understand Mike and his coaching philosophy, you need to go in there and spend some time with him. Yeah. Because that's what I did. You know what I mean? I said, if you want to be, you know what I'm saying, they want to call me a great at OU. I was like, understand what I did. You know what I mean? I used to beat Mike into the meeting room and watch film with him, you know what I'm saying, for at least about an hour, at least 30 to an hour and a half. I was in there before I went to class just to understand, you know what I'm saying, what he's calling, and when he's calling it, why is he calling it? You know what I mean? So when it came to game time, I was so well prepared. I mean, that's why Coach would say that I looked like I was bored, because I was ready for every damn play. You know what I'm saying? It was just that easy for me. But I was telling them young kids, I was like, yo, you guys just need to spend some time with them. And so this summer, when they took a group picture of me, Tommy, and Teddy, I asked them, I said, yo, how many of y'all remember me telling y'all need to spend some time with y'all coaches? Everybody put their hand up, right? I told them to put their hands up. Then I said, how many of y'all want to, you know what I'm saying, win a national championship? Everybody had their hands up. I said, all right, now keep your hands up. Now, everybody put their hands up if this doesn't apply to you. I said, how many of y'all took the advice of me to spend some time with y'all coaches? I promise you about 75% of their hands went down. And I said, so you guys are telling me you guys want to be the best and win national championships, but you guys aren't even putting the time in? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that, that was so eye-opening for me.
Nothing come easy.
And no, it doesn't. I mean,
nothing come easy.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, and granted, it's nice and all fine and dandy to win Big 12 championships, but the way I look at a Big 12 championship is just like this. Like when I played high school ball, it was the NBA. That's your league championship. Yeah. That's how I look at it. That's how I look. That's how. Yeah. That's how I look at it. And that's no disrespect. Yeah. That's how I look. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm totally happy that they got back to back Big 12 championships, but that don't mean anything unless you win the big boy. You know what I mean? Like it was said from my Bob's mouth that we ain't getting Big 12 championship rings if we didn't win the national championship.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
But now everybody gets a ring. You know what I mean? And they're celebrating Big 12 championships, which that's all fine and dandy. But I mean, when you set your expectations that low, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are you gonna, you know what I'm saying, have a mindset of being a national champion
For a whole season.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah, 'cause
But you know that's just what it is. And then defense coordinators, I damn near had Mike Zimmer the whole way through. You know, and then we had Wade Phillips. And then I had Mike again. That's it.
What about you, Roof?
I mean, a lot of what Roy said, you know, as far as Mike being there, and I had Coach Venables, but the same rules apply, man. I mean, I watched Teddy and those guys. They'll be in the film room with my redshirt freshman year. I watched those guys. They were in the film room all the time, Lance and all of them. And the guy that wasn't in the film room a lot was Pasha. And he was a casualty. I mean, you go back, kid. You go back and you watch. He was a big kid, had a lot of talent, but he was never in the film room like the other guys. So he never became that guy on the field that he could be. And he lost a lot of. He could have done really great at what he was doing. And as I became, whenever Lance had to come back his senior year, I would always go with Lance. I'd be in the film room with Lance. So it got to a point where I was calling the calls, knew what was coming, and all that stuff. And the guy that really helped me out was Gayron. And that's what speak to the team and the players that we had before, because Gayron knew every position. He knew Mike Long.
He had to, though. I remember he had to.
Played all of them.
That's why I said he had to.
He played all of them, and whenever BV would be like 10 miles that way, he would say, if you do this, it'll take care of all the other ones. All the other steps. And I was like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. And so I learned a lot from Gayron, and then when I became like the guy, I guess, or whatever, the leader of the team, I was always in there with Coach V. I would be in there like an hour early, getting film, understanding what he's calling in. And Coach Venables has such a great mind, and him and Mike worked so well together because BV was so analytical. And he was like 80%, and whenever this comes, they come out in this formation, what's the top 3 plays that's coming? If the guard does this, it's 90% this right here. So you knew to go that way whenever the guard did a certain move. And that's what made it so cool, because that's what I started to love about football, because it was a chess match every damn day. Yeah. Every time we went to practice, it was a chess match. And he honed in on that shit. He was like, hey, you better be in this film room. I'm going to come down to the film room and see where you at.
Yeah, but then when the game came, shit, it was like...
It was second nature. Yeah, it was go.
It was like run. It was like go. And like from what Roy was saying earlier about tackling somebody and stuff, I remember BV, we'll go in our drills every day. We did tackling drills just about every damn day. Yeah. He'll put a cone on the goal line. And Lance Mitchell, 250 pounds, 260 pounds coming down here. He said, you got to stop him from scoring a touchdown. I look at that man like, shit, Lance would just lean into you. He would go in the end zone. So you have to learn how to hit people and stuff and figure things out. And those are the type of things you took into your mind whenever you go into practice. You go from the film room, you go into practice, and he will go over the tackling drills with you and said, why you going to take on a guy that big, hit him in the chest? He gonna look at it. Why you gonna hit a guy that big in the chest? It's like, that just don't make no damn sense. Yeah. You better hit Lance low. So, there's different things, and I don't think these kids taking it over that way. And, it was hard to see Mike go, but I think they needed a change because those kids wasn't responding to him. Yeah. And Mike was driving himself more crazy than anything because there was a lot that was going on in the backdrop that nobody really saw. And Mike was really driving himself crazy, trying to make things happen, and you could see they wasn't on the same page on the back end. They wasn't on the same page.
But like you said, at the end of the day, the kids gotta listen and want to be. You know what I mean? Want to be, like Roy said, in the right position.
It's got to be extra. It's got to be extra. You can't just learn it in position meetings. You cannot learn what you need to learn, especially as a defensive player starter, just in position meetings.
But then after leaving OU and going to Minnesota, I had Leslie Frazier was my defensive coordinator, and that dude was as monotone as anybody you'd ever see. He would put you to sleep, but from what I learned from Coach Venables, I knew everything that the Vikings was doing. It was almost identical to OU's defense. And then I went to Indianapolis, and I had, I think, Gunther there, and he was straight. He was more of a blitzing guy, and I actually a lot. He played that cover 2 as well at Indy, And it was an easy one to pick up as well. Gary Brackett and all those guys, it was an easy defense to pick up. So they were all good guys, and they all kind of played the same way that OU played a lot of the times. And they had defensive ends, and they just let everybody go and play ball.
Yeah,
that's what I loved about playing football.
Yeah.
If you knew your stuff, and you just let you go out there and play ball.
So before we get to LSU, K-State, and USC, I wanted to tell y'all about my D coordinators and also tell y'all a funny story about BV. Mine were, y'all were with me, but I had Rivera, and then I had, Monty Kiffin in Tampa, and then who do we have? We had Zimmer in Cincinnati, Roy. The funny story, again, before we get into those, Rufus is really going to laugh at this. We did pass pro against y'all one day in the offseason, and I think what's taken for granted is the competition that we had between coaches. So we had Sumlin at this point, and he had Venables. Well, we go do this pass pro one day. We do this pass pro one day, and we win. And the media, there was like some message board that goes and puts every one-on-one down straight. BV prints it off and puts it on his board. So I walk by his room, and I'm like, damn, what's our name doing up over there? Fam, he studied them damn things and roasted their ass all weekend. The next spring practice, they sprint over, dog. And I mean, everybody ran. We won one battle out of like 11.
And that when Dane Zaslow went with y'all?
Man.
And we messed up that man's knee.
Man, it was awful. But anyway, that was just a funny story. I mean, you talk about like just the competitive nature of just those dudes daily in practice, in inside drill, in pass pro, in you talked about individual drill, dog. The linebacker, that was a different beast back in linebacker. Y'all would do so many. Y'all would stay after fam and do bag drills after practice. Like it's nothing.
Did it wrong. But I remember that year you're talking about too. They moved Dane Zaslow was at linebacker, and they moved him to fullback, and they went over there. We just went and do pass rush. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody bull rushed him. His knee collapsed over. And BV said, "Man, fuck him, move to the side."
Get hurt, fuck it, move over there. Let's move to the other side of the field.
He went, He said, fuck it, move over to the side. We got to get this work. And we kept on going.
I got to go straight. You were there, K-State. Roy, I have to double apologize to you. Straight, you weren't there against USC. But give me your thoughts on the 3 games that I brought up.
The K-State game was, it was such a blur. It was just so much stuff going on that game. Shit, I don't even know. Everything just felt funny, felt different from the time we knew we was going to the Big 12 Championship. It just felt funny, and shit, once we got to the game, everything just started unfolding. I don't even know what happened, really.
I was a redshirt freshman, and I remember it. It was just, I think it was the disbelief that Mike was leaving.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of...
And he was different on the sideline when he approached
because he really wasn't...
there.
He wasn't doing what he do.
Because I watched one time when the guys came off the field and they messed up, and he was coming to scream, and he took a deep breath, and then he talked to everybody.
That's when they was talking about, they got to be calm. So if you go in Arizona, you can't be a head coach all fiery and all this other shit. But at that time, it was still like shaky if he was going or not. So it was always like, we don't really know. But then at the end of the day, it was like, shit, we still didn't go out there and do what we need to do.
I just remember, I still remember, like when he took a deep breath and he turned and talked, and usually he was.
Yeah, he coming. He
coming like right now, and he wasn't that same guy because he didn't want to have that. I'm going to be a head coach or whatever. They want that look of this maniac.
And everybody picked up on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you said, everybody picked up on it. It was just like, so what the hell is going on?
Linebacker-wise, though, that K-State game, BV was in there chasing ghosts. We was in meetings making checks that night of, and we hadn't even gone to sleep yet. Yeah. Teddy was in there. Okay, he may do this or whatever, and they may do this and that. They were linebacker. They were out looking for sprint draw. We were looking for draw. We were looking for zone read. We were looking for quarterback run game. It was like chasing ghosts out there. And they came down there and ran a simple draw, a simple draw out the back door off the pirate. Boom, out the gate. Then a little screen.
Before I bring Roy in, I know you have a lot of feelings, Roy, just because you were a rookie and second-year guy on that time. And you talked a little bit off air just about possibly you left as a junior. And I got more stories about that because you were a great host for recruiting when I was even leaving. So that was great. But, again, if you can, just tell people what you thought about that time and how you feel about it now.
I was thinking about league.
I'm telling you, shit.
No, honestly, it was it was kind of a bittersweet. You know what I mean? I even remember we were in the music hall when we had our awards in there, and I was just like, man, it was just like, dude, it's like these are my brothers. You know what I mean? It was like, honestly, I was like, fuck, I don't want to leave these dudes. You know what I mean? But then
all came up. Like,
yeah, we all came together. You know what I mean? And it was just like, man, I really don't want to leave. You know what I mean? But I had a lot of guys like, nah, Roy, go get it. You know what I mean?
Leave,
you know what I mean? It
You
was
had
just,
to. You got to go. You got to go.
You had to leave.
I don't think how you could top that.
It was
you know, the crazy thing about it was the only thing that they, like, people were saying for me was like, hey, you know, if you come back, you can win the Jim Thorpe again. You know what I mean? And they were like, you can, you know, you'll be up there for the Heisman, you know, candidate. And I was just like, you know, and then what really like took it over the top was when I talked to Bob and was like, you know what? Bob was like, I get it. He was like, but before you make a decision, he was like, just call the league office and see where you're projected. You know what I mean? They were like, said top 15. I was like, I'm gone.
Don't say it.
I was like, I'm gone. But you know, it was this. So I mean, it was a tough decision, and you know what I mean. When I accepted my Jim Thorpe Award and they came back here in Oklahoma and I talked about it, man, I just broke down because there was so many emotions. Because it was like, man, these are my young dogs. You know what I mean? That we've been through a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, I don't want to have to give this up. And I mean, and honestly, I wish the NFL was more like college because it was more of a family.
Me too.
You know what I mean? There's no one making more money than somebody else. Somebody has a mega contract. Everybody's just out there to win for the love of the game, the camaraderie, and you know, and that's one thing I missed about going to the league and you know going to the Rose Bowl and watching them play Washington State. I mean, it was awesome, and that's what I was telling you guys. It was like, man, I feel that if I would have stayed, I think would have been playing for the national championship just because I feel that. The games that were lost, I think we would have won just off the strength of I knew what being on the football field would have mean to the other guys out there. You know what I mean? So, I mean that's what we were talking about.
By the way, I've overheard Mike Stoops my freshman year saying the 2001 defense was the only thing he loved more than his wife and kids.
True statement.
So
no, I mean it's I understand that, but you got to understand. When he came in '99, you know what I'm saying, the basically, honestly, the shit show that he walked into, you know what I mean? You got to understand, in '98, we had Blake, and then we were off, like, we had probably about 6 or 7 months off, you know what I mean? My aunt was in the what was that? The
dining hall or something?
The dining hall, whatever it was called. I don't even remember what it's called now.
The Wag.
Wag the calf.
Nah, it was the Wagner, was it? Was it called Wagner?
It was the Wagner. Yeah.
Right behind the bud?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Wagner.
There it is.
Miss,
shows how much time you spent in there.
No, I was always in there. Boy, I was always in there.
What you talking about?
They wouldn't let you take carry out.
No.
I was pissed off.
Good.
Stacey O hating ass.
Yeah, Stacey always hating.
But, you know, so we ballooned. I mean, I know I ballooned up. I mean, we didn't work out, you know what I mean? But, you know, so... And then, you know what I'm saying, and them, we basically, you know what I'm saying, they sculpted us into what they wanted us to be. And honestly, we were literally like the perfect canvas, and they painted the perfect picture. Yeah. I mean, so I understand what he meant by what that statement meant, because, I mean, you got to think about it. Dude, we had just some young, hungry kids that wanted to be great. You know what I mean? Like literally when Bob came on, we had a meeting. My 98 class, we had a meeting. Like, yo, who's gonna leave, who's gonna stay? You know, because the guys was like, man, F this, man. I came in with Blake, we don't want a new coach. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, my boy Deshaun Foxworth, like you said later, was like, dude, y'all, you know you can come here still, you know, Bob Toledo welcoming open arms, and I was like, I contemplated it, but I was like, dude, I'm looking at all my brothers' faces, and I'm like, nah, let's do something special. You know what I mean? And so, you know, '99 we had a good season, and then come 2000, you know, it was just, I mean, we had some dogs. Like we just had some hungry kids that wanted to have fun on the football field and just celebrate each other's victories.
You know what it was? I think it was y'all had been through all of the other stuff leading up to '99 and 2000, to when it all just culminated, everything that came together the right way. And just the whole team atmosphere was right. It wasn't no offense, defense. It was the whole team. Yeah. And everybody felt like they needed to do their job on the team to make us reach the goal that we want to reach and shit.
And I thought that off season, I think the summers make you more hungry to play because it was so brutal. Yeah, you be like, you're so mad. You're so mad when you came to the field.
Dude. I mean, season is like a vacation for him.
No doubt. Yeah.
But on another thing, not to cut you off, but like Rufus, like you said on the UCLA game, you were talking about how everybody was not getting reach, everybody was in position.
Right.
That's how 2000 defense was, the 2001 defense. Everybody, it was just like poetry in motion. Yeah. Everybody did their jobs. Like, no one, you would not really see many people on the ground. We would not get cut. You know what I'm saying? Defensive linemen wouldn't get, cut off from their blocks. Everybody was always in the right run fit. Everything was so clean when we played. It was just like...
It was the best thing about it is we policed ourselves. It was like, come on, man, you're supposed to be right here. Let's go. You know what I mean?
And that never... and that probably happened literally probably about 5 to at least 8 times in the whole season. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody... that's how... that's why when Mike says, that 2001 defense was, like, the best, we... And that's no... disrespect to any other defense. Like, dude, when you watch that film, like, dude,
it was
like we changed our line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? The D line and just everybody. Like, we played at such a high level. You know what I mean? Because of the other guys that were there before, like the Torrance Marshalls and the Ramon Richardsons and all those guys. It was just like, dude, we played with such a chip on our shoulders because, I got tired of getting cussed out. I got cussed out for doing shit right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's just like...
The worst part was getting cussed out and then going in the meeting, you get cussed out again.
The same thing.
Same thing. And they talk about it, they talk to you later, and they start thinking about it and cuss you out again.
Dude, I feel you. Now you feel my pain.
Now you feel my pain 3 times. Damn.
Roof, you've already talked a little bit about the K-State game. Let's go to you for USC, and then if you don't mind, your thoughts. You were around for Boise. I was actually at that game. The 2 games I was at that year, Chicago, we beat Arizona. It was terrible. It was terrible. I got to go to the Monday night game. I was with the Bears that year when we came back on the it was the Cardinals. Devin Hester returned the kick at the very end. Yeah. So that was a crazy game. And then I come to see y'all. So tell me about what you thought about USC and Boise.
USC, a lot of people was confused in that game. And it looked like it was that way on the field. I remember, that was around when Coach Venables was coming into his own as a defensive coordinator, and he had a lot of checks. And I would look at Lance, and Lance had glossed over for a minute because he really didn't know some of the stuff, the checks or whatever. And we'd be in practice, and he was getting yelled at. Clint was out there. It was Clint first year, kind of coming into his own, and so Clint would freeze up and be like, "Man, what do you check right here?" He'd be like, and then BV would go off, and then there was a lot of a little bit of headbutting as well in practice and stuff between the co-defensive coordinators and stuff. So, we get to the game and it just came out on the field. We started off hot, and I think Norm Chow kind of figured out what we were doing by that second half when they kind of got the ball and the game slowed down for him, and he realized what we were doing. Because, when we would check palms, Liner would just check to the 2 seam routes every time. And we come to the sideline and it was like, man, coach, they know what we calling. And he's like, nah, they don't know.
How you going to tell me when I just watch this?
Coach, I'm telling you, they know what we doing. So it kind of, it was one of those things where after the touch of the punt, and then Mark Bradley threw that ball back inbounds when he was going out of bounds, it just kind of snowballed after that. I think we had 2 bad we had that punt touch, they scored a touchdown, and then we drive in. Mark Bradley catches a really good pass on the sideline, and he throws it back in. They call it fumble, and USC get it. And then it was like after that, it just went just nosedive. And the guys we had on the team. You talking about Jamal Brown, Davin Joseph. You talk about Adrian Peterson, guys that all went to the league. Dan Cody. The list can go on. Dante Nicholson.
Yeah.
You had Brodney Poole over there playing as well. I mean, all guys that went to the league and played for a little while. And all those, I mean, we came up so short. I mean, it was the most embarrassing thing that I've been a part of. It was horrible. Even I take that loss worse than the Boise State one because, you know, you playing for a national championship. I was a sophomore in there trying to, you know, do what I can, but it was just like, you know, the senior leadership kind of let us down at that point. Because, I mean, you had guys that came to the sideline and was like, shit, no, you go on in freshman. You know what I mean? That's how it was for real. That's how it turned. That's what it turned into. Well, it was just that bad.
But it's not just on y'all, man. There was some, I don't want to say infighting, but for us, the competition at receiver. I mean, we had so many receivers at that point. And then, by the way, you had some guy named Adrian Peterson who got 2,000 yards. And so, to me, it boiled down, Roof, to, and I still want to get your thoughts about Boise. You ain't ducking that. But my biggest thing is I think we just lack camaraderie, whether it was missing D tackles, whether it was not selling all. We did a really good job. It was our most talented offensive team is what you brought up. Right. Early on, we bought into AD. We bought into he was going to win us games, and then Jay White's arm could bail us out if we needed to. And then, you know, you brought up the Bradley play. That one hurt, man. It hurt us as an offense. You could just feel it on the sidelines. But, again, I just want to get your thoughts about, you know, and talking about some of your preparation for Boise.
Well, you know, Boise was one of those things where, you know, we watching them on film, and they wasn't really great on film. I mean, you look at them, it wasn't a good team. They would just do everything right. They just played hungry. They played like, you know, we wanted to play. They were hungry as hell. Yeah. And we came out there. We spotted them 21. Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. I think PT threw a pick six. He threw 3 interceptions and pretty much gave him the ball with short field position, and it just kind of went downhill early. And then we kind of battled our way back. Yeah, you couldn't stop the bleeding, but we sitting there in that game, and I mean, the Ian Johnson guy, he was supposed to be this big-time rusher dude. He was trash. And I was telling him, every time I tackled, I think I had 18 tackles in that game, and I was telling that dude he was trash. Yeah. Every time I tackled him. Right. And then we came to the sideline. I remember when we came to the sideline, we were down. I was like, man, I think I cussed everybody out. I was like, man, we out here getting beat by these sorry-ass just going off. Yeah. And sometimes we started,
gotta let it go.
Yeah, you know, we let it go. Then we climbed back in the game. Ian Johnson comes to the sideline. I stripped him out of the ball. Boom, we get the ball back, turnover. We go down, we score. We had like a few other ones where we stopped them, and then Cuddy, Marcus Walker picked 6-1. I mean, we like defensively, we started to, you know, we settled in and came back, and then you had all the trick plays and all that stuff that happened in that game. You know, it's just
crazy.
It was just their moment, man. I mean, they did the hook and ladder, they did the halfback pass. The halfback pass. What was crazy is Zach Lack called it out before it happened, and he played it, and it was
pretty well.
It was
good pass.
Good pass.
Sometimes it just don't go your way like that, but.
And then the Statue of Liberty, you know, they set it up. They called the timeout. You know, he was talking about it. It was like, they're gonna do that play, and Coach, they ain't gonna do that shit. And we get back on the field, Statue of Liberty happens, and then, but it kind of went to our season. It was the game where Malcolm Kelly, he gets hurt, he doesn't play in there, and then you got PT used to throwing the ball to a 6'4" guy, now he's throwing to a 6'1" guy on a fade route. Q Chaney came into the game, he hadn't played much all year long.
AD been hurt, coming back.
Been hurt, he came back, he didn't get going until later on in the game. I mean, you had a rhythm with AP in the game, with Alan Patrick in the game. And now you all of a sudden have to make a way for Adrian to go ahead and play his last game in college. And then the game ended the way, man, it was, like we said, like we talked about earlier, everybody playing their responsibility. It showed that everybody was supposed to play their responsibility. You stop the play. And at the end of that game, you see the tight end and tackle and the defensive end and the cornerback are inside both those guys. And you kind of, when I saw the play happen, I'm running downhill. I'm like, oh, you got to turn back, And he kept going wide. Yeah. And you see it ends, but at the end of the day, you go back and you look at it, you know, football's still the same. You play your responsibilities. You play for the person beside you. And if you take care of your responsibility, that guy going to help you out. Yeah. Either one of us is going to make the tackle, but you all have to do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And that play on that night, that everybody... The 2 guys that were supposed to do, did not do it, and it just
that's all it takes. That's all it takes is one.
That was it.
The new linebacker coach, Strait, a guy by the name of Brian Odom. You got any stories? I'm sure you do, fam. You got no BO stories?
You know, he was younger than he was over there with the offense with the he was over there with the offense basically. So he was over there with pretty much with the number 1 O. So he never was really with us. But no, I never got too many stories about him though. I remember him though, but not nothing just to stick out.
Man, I remember if he was state player of the year, man, he had 275 rushing on us in the first half.
I bet you remember.
Fam, we came in, dog, and it's just like what you said about Boise, dog. We watching Ada on film, and they played Ardmore. They had Cliff Talcahuano, they had Poteet, and some Ford, and A. Ford. So we like, damn, man, this white boy running by Ford on him. He ran off on them, too, so we was like, but nah, he ain't gonna do that to us, fam. Yeah. Man, by halftime, he was out the game. We like, damn. B.O. was the real deal, fam. I'm sure you have some stories about him, Roy.
Nah, I mean, I really don't. I mean, Brian was real quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was all about business. Wasn't an arrogant nor was he a cocky guy. He
did what he was supposed to do.
Did what he's supposed to do, and he went back to the dorm and did it all again the following day. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he was just a class act dude. I mean, those are the guys that you want on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you met him, Ruth, but he's an awesome guy, man, and he's been coaching up in Missouri now, and glad to see him back in. He played running back, fam. We had so many running backs.
He was Q, all of them over there. So it was,
I was gonna say because he wasn't in our workout group, and then he transferred like 3 days into camp because we had Q, Kiwan, Dante, Ronaldo. So I mean, we had like 4 state player of the year. He was the 5th state player of the year. So we had all them. But another one, Jalen Hurts, coming to our school. What you think about him, Bama quarterback?
I mean, I think it's a perfect fit for 1 year, basically. You know what I mean? It's basically what he looking for his future. So the best future for a quarterback, you would think, is with Lincoln Riley. And you know what I mean? I think he made a great decision, and I think we made a great decision because it gave Rattler enough time to let the offense sink in and do what he needs to do for the following years or whatever he's going to do.
What you think about Hurts, Roy?
I mean, I think it's a great pickup for us. Just see what he's done at Alabama. And I mean, that alone, I mean, hopefully, honestly, we're talking about, guys that you need in your locker room to pull guys together. I think he can probably do that just from, you know what I mean? It's the experience and, the coaching from, Saban and just the mentality. Hopefully he can be, infectious in the locker room and, some of that rubs off on the guys so they can have a better mindset, you know what I'm saying, beginning of the season, middle of the season, at the end of the season, you know what I'm saying, staying focused.
I think looking at it though, man, we needed that guy on defense. We need that guy that's that dog on defense, but he's gonna be a guy on offense. They've had that guy for 3 years in a row on offense. Yeah. I mean, you've had Baker Mayfield that'll get the whole. I mean, he was a spunk for everybody, but I mean, he's a leader in that huddle. Yeah. You don't have that guy. I mean, I like I said, I can remember y'all guys as teams, and I mean, you had Book that was saying what he had to say. Strait was saying everybody was at attention when those guys spoke. Yeah. And now you don't have that guy on the defensive side where everybody's at attention. Somebody will brush a guy off, or man, I don't hear what you have to say right now. I've seen it on the sideline.
Thinking they're talking down when it's like it's just an observation of me trying to help you, brother.
And that was the cool thing about those teams that I watched play is because if Book had something to say, everybody listened. If Dan Cody has something to say, no guy got in their feelings. Nobody said, man, why you talking to me like that or none of that. Yeah. It was like, all right, I got you next play. And
because I think it goes back to what Roy was talking about. Everybody knew what they need to do as far as on the film room. When you go out there on the field, if you got this gap, you got this gap. It's that simple. You know what I mean?
And you don't want to be that guy that go back to practice and get roasted by everybody.
Don't be that guy. Because if you don't do your job, you're going to make it harder for somebody else.
You don't ever want to be that guy.
Yeah. You get to practice and, man, everybody roasting you in there. You're like, damn, man, I can't believe it.
Bricks.
Yeah.
Right. Bricks.
Yeah. So it's just, man, it's one of those things that you hope. Jalen Hurts is a guy that you're going to see the offense change. He's a power run quarterback. So now you're going to see how Lincoln Riley changed the game as far as how he's going to use a power run game quarterback, because he ain't going to be no sliding like Kyler Murray did. He ain't going to be a guy that's going to be slow as Baker Mayfield. He has a little bit more athletic ability out there in the open field. And he can spin it a little bit. I mean, he's going to be able to run that RPO.
I mean, with all the 5-star receivers coming in, you're going to have to be able to spin it some because there's too many 5 stars out there just to And CD Lamb already doing this thing. Rambo, everybody, they
All you
already
gotta do is throw it up and see.
Yeah.
He a different dude.
Definitely.
Let's give them some prep talk. I think sometimes fans, they know the game or try to understand the game, and I commend them for that. Talk to me about what it's like. I'm going to give you a phrase that I heard, and I'll tell you how I heard it. But let's start with Roy. I told you yours already. So if I tell you the phrase, I'm going to give you $, so you can think of it. I'm going to give you overpowered 5, so you can think of it. But Roy, if I call dime 5, tell me what Mike Stoops would tell you to expect.
Hell, it depends on dime 5. We're bringing 5 DBs in. Like for instance, at K-State, we'll call dime 5. They had Aaron Lockett, they had Quincy Morgan. I don't remember the other guys. They had a big, nice tight end. But I mean, it's pretty much there was a speed set on the offensive side, so you better get your track shoes on because it's gonna be a track.
Goes back to what I was saying. Rerouting. Boy, them safeties back there.
You better carry that damn vertical.
For real though.
That's real.
So
vertical.
It's so I mean, we'll have 5 DBs on the field, and it's buckle up because it's they're gonna bring it. They're coming with something. So I mean, it just depends on the sets, and it all depends on the split. So if I'm on the slide and he, what I'm saying, he's
that guy
like 5. He's like 4 to 5 yards from the closest outside lineman or the tight end. He's either he's cutting across or he's gonna run a deep post or he's gonna run a corner route. You know what I mean? So I mean, you break it down to all right. After the ball snapped, what I'm saying, he's running straight. Okay, now he's not running across, so I know he's either running, what I'm saying, a seam route or he's hitting a 7 route. Pick your poison. So I mean, but that goes all back down to film study, and after the snap, after they cross the line, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You run that seam route. I'm always looking for that number 1 receiver. Please cut down. Please, please stop. Please stop. All right, I ain't got to carry no more. Yes.
Break down $1 for me, Roof. What's $1 mean?
$1, I mean, man, that means what? That was when B. Shelby would come in the game. We would have what? We'd have 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers. We bring in B. Shell. You'd have 5 DBs out there. So you basically had 6 DBs out there playing. But that was more of your disguise for a bunch of blitzes that you could come either way. You was good in coverage if you drop a DB in one setting as well. But it was more of you're going to hit home on the blitz. All you got to do is play your zones right because they bring in more than they can cover up. We did $1 as well when we did it with Dan Cody, and Dan Cody played pretty much the $1 part and stood up like B. Shelby. And he was a guy that came in and he was blitzing. So it was about the matchups, which you had people that were blitzing. And that's what they did a great job of whenever we played $1 because we know B. Shelby was a great blitzer. And him match up B. Shelby matched up on a running back. He was gonna win, no matter what. He was gonna win. He was gonna get to the quarterback. And now they play $1 now, and everybody breaks into a zone, and they just sit there and watch the quarterback. Well, you have to match with the receivers with the routes and knowing what's going on. And there's one guy that's gonna be free in the middle that's not gonna match up with him, and he has to find the quarterback, and that's usually the middle linebacker. And so much these guys the middle linebacker drops so deep, and the quarterback takes off. And he's not even nowhere near close to make a play by the line of scrimmage. DV used to tell us set your heels at 10 for the middle linebacker and look for the quarterback because if nothing comes across and everything goes out, there's nothing in the middle for you. Yeah. You got to wait for the quarterback to come out and break the line of scrimmage because we got everybody covered.
Go find some work.
Yeah, and something come across the middle, take the first person out that's coming across the middle, push him down, then you ain't got to worry about covering him because he's going to somebody else's zone. But you can take him.
Yeah.
But you can't. You can push them. You can push them off their route though. You can't really take them out. But
man, get the day right here. Boom, clean them up. All right, I'm done with him. What's going on?
So, but that's what I think about $1 though. I mean, it was like one of those where you get to match up and really showcase your skills as far as a linebacker goes. I used to love playing $1 because you get to match up with a guy. I know I have safety help over there. I can be as aggressive as I want. Put my hands on the guy. Safety's over the top of me. I'm good. But now I just don't see how guys play it now. It's just it looks a little rough to watch. It's tough.
Straight, what you got for me? Overpowered 5.
Overpowered 5 is usually cover 2 with that. We got our DBs in. I loved it because I knew it was cover 2, and I knew that if they run anywhere over here, I'm killing all of that. Because I already told Book, listen, if this tight end block down, I'm gone. Either he going to block down, it's a run to me, or they going to boot to me, and I got him anyways because he come to my flats.
Right.
So it was always easy for me over there. So I always made tackles, and I know the linebackers was coming, so I knew they scream off the top, just like you said. They got to cut off them linemen coming across, so they turn it out, and it's always coming to me, so I'm always out there waiting for it. And I knew I had to reroute good because Book sometimes he get back there and he get in his own world, so I knew I had to reroute. You know what I mean? If it's a pass.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, I got to reroute, so that was always there. But me and him was always on the same page, luckily, because we always had an understanding like, come on, Book, let me see where you at. Check it out. All right, now we good. Now we get to it. But he knew what we was doing when we did it, though.
Well, I only remember that because I sat close to the DB meeting room. So I told y'all off air, but they had the sliding doors, and Coach Mike damn near broke the thing. Yeah. So it was basically off. So I could hear into y'all's meetings. But, man, I tell you what, I learned so much hearing BV and Coach Mike coach y'all up. And I remember hearing, y'all going to laugh at this, how fucking fast y'all would answer the questions. How fast? Who got? They got me. Who got the? You. Who got? I mean, it was lightning. Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. I mean, it was crazy hearing some of that shit. Is it true for Roy? I'm sitting here looking like, man, is this like? Because I got him in special teams. You know, I was just in there 20 minutes ago. Like, damn, like that's crazy. But anyway, let's get on to the Facebook stories. I'm going to talk about some stuff. Roof, you haven't posted on it, but I got a funny story for you on it. But Strait, you posted one day about a pick 6 that you got on Eric Crouch. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, that was the Nebraska game. We was number 1 after we after we beat Texas in 2000. After we beat Texas, Kansas State, then we had a bye week. So we was all kind of like the first quarter, pretty much. It was like we was all out there kind of like zombie like because it was like a week earlier. But I remember it specifically because I got toasted for the first 6. You know what I'm talking about? I was letting go. So that's why specifically I was like, I got to get that back. That was my personality kicking in like, come on, Strait. That ain't how the game goes. Right. You owe the team one because you know what I mean. You gave that up. You did that. So I was always in my feelings about that because I gave up that 6. So it was pretty much cover 5, cover 2 like that again. But got a good reroute and the dude kind of tried to sit right behind me and Book was coming up cleaning that up. So he didn't really know. Shit, he threw it as soon as I caught it. It was just like going back to offense in high school. You know what I mean? Let's get to the zone, man. After that, shit, let's go.
Roy, you posted on the page that Mike Stoops called you pear-shaped, bro. What was that about?
No, I touched on that earlier. When we didn't have no coach at the time after Blake got fired. So yeah, man, we all was chilling lunch. You know what I mean?
The ice cream. I heard something about an ice cream machine that they was wheeling out.
Dude, I don't even remember that, but I just remember that I did, balloon up a little bit, and I
know it was steak and shrimp Wednesdays though.
Dude, we tore
everything was good,
and crab legs.
What?
Everything. So good. I mean, he did, but I mean, it was just. It was the start of, honestly, probably a beautiful relationship. You know what I mean? That I did not know that was going to even happen. You know, I mean, he challenged me every day. You know what I mean? He would tell me every day the best safety he's ever coached was Gerard Cooper. You know what I mean? And he made sure that he pressed on that. Gerard Cooper wouldn't do that. Why you do that? You know what I mean? And so I always held that in. You know what I mean? It was like, nah, I'm going to be the best safety you ever did. I never told him that. But, you know what I'm saying, I wanted my play to reflect. I wanted to be the best, you know what I mean? And honestly, it's funny because I would never in my mind even think about putting my hands on my coach. But every person I hit, I was like, nigga, I'm always like, this is motherfucking Mike Stoops. I'm going to take your motherfucking head off. Right. You know what I mean? So I mean, dude, exactly, you know what I mean? So, I mean, so it's, yeah, he did. He called me pear-shaped, but I mean, it's just, that was just his way of trying to, see how I would respond to his criticism. You know what I mean? And I think I responded well.
Yeah, because he cussed us all out.
All the time. He's the only player. He was the only coach to grab my jersey, and I was on scout team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I just knew, right? That's right. Hey, I didn't do it wrong twice. I'll tell you that much. Only did it wrong once.
He cussed me out. I'm in the linebacker room. Yeah. He cussed me out. One time I'm not carrying the vertical.
Jawan Rankins posted one about you, Roof, and he said, I can't tell which drink is yours, but he said that you're either a Jaeger bomb guy or Kettle One and Goose. What you can read it. Don't read the last part. We ain't trying to end marriages and shit on here. But which drink is yours on there?
No, Strait used to be on that E&J. I don't know what y'all used to be
Jaeger bomb. That's me.
That was you?
No, Jack and Crown.
That was you?
Mine's the Crown.
Okay.
Crown.
Yeah. Talk about that. A little bit of old stories from college.
Man, it was at. I remember it was Lamont Robertson came in. He was a true freshman.
Buck
came in, and we went to Congo's. We went to Congo's. I was driving a big old red and yellow Dodge with TVs in it. And we went in the Congos and we were in there drinking. So I picked up the whole tab that night. I don't know how I did that, but picked up the whole...
showing out.
Yeah, we showing out. So, I mean, everybody was in there. So Bass and all them. So we up in there. So I said, all right, tonight what we going to do is whatever you drinking, you buy. Whatever you drinking, I'm going to pay for. But we going to all take a shot of Crown and down a Crown and Coke. And we're going to do it again the next 10 or 15 minutes. So, bro, we were getting it. I mean, we in there, boom, hitting it. I mean, bumping there. I'm like, hey, man, what you want to drink or whatever? He was like, oh, man, Cavassier.
Hold on, bro.
Damn.
Hey, hold on, bro. I can't even steal that.
That man said, give me a Cavassier.
Out of high school.
I said,
that must have been with P. Diddy and them. That
man said Cavassier. I looked at him, I said, okay, all right. Okay. So, you know, we in there, we all drinking. I mean, boom, we hitting it, everybody getting what they getting, boom, you know, dropping it. We dropping money and all that stuff. So at the end of the night, carry Bup out the club, put him in the truck, and so we driving in front of Congos. You know, let the music go, showing out. You know, just showing out. Next thing I know, everybody pointing at the truck like Bup on the side of the truck.
Out of there. Out of there. He ain't gonna make it. Like Strait say,
man down.
He ain't gonna make it.
There's no more cool points to be had. He's done.
Next time I drove back, carried Bup up in the dorms, put him down downstairs in the bud. Yeah, I'm not carrying him upstairs. Put him downstairs in the bud.
Yeah, he good.
And I go back the next day, look down the side of the truck. I mean, it's just all
everywhere.
Over everywhere. And I'm just like, that was one of our stories, man. We used to go to the clubs and do that. I mean, I did that a few times. We went up to Sky Bar, did that a few times up there. But
Rank ain't one to talk though either. He gonna watch this. Rank ass ain't one to talk.
Rank
either.
Ain't one to talk. I mean, but everybody got down, man.
They did.
We rocked out that night.
That's what made everybody closer though.
Absolutely.
Everybody party with everybody.
Absolutely.
The whole team, regardless.
Bup didn't make. Bup was a casualty that night, man. I just, I had to look at him a little crazy because that man said Cavassier, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you did.
I thought he was a drinker. He wasn't. He was a lightweight, man.
Yeah, I believe it. Hey, let's go to the Twitter questions. I picked out a question for each one of y'all. If y'all don't mind, we'll start with you, Strait. You got Sooner Keith one.
This is actually great.
And if
we was just talking
sign
about.
it for me, and I'll send it to him.
It says, what ultimately convinced you to that OU was the place for you? For me, it was the players. When I came on my recruiting trip, it was Roy, JT, Neil. We all went to house parties. That Chronic 2001 was out. Ooh! So everybody. So I was like, oh man, this is it for me. This is it for me. This is it for me. It's the right type of guys around that I know that I can vibe with out here. And that right there did it for me because I was like, you know what? I'm coming here, and I committed.
Roy, what you got?
Mine is at
Boom Soon 2021. My handwriting's terrible.
No, you're good. What player had the best career at OU? And that's a tough one, man.
You can give me 3 to 5.
No, I'm not even going to give you 3 or 5. I mean, because I feel that there was a bunch, but the one probably closest to my heart was after, because Strait got there the year after, but we had Coach Shepard, Derrick Shepard.
Yeah.
Coach Shep. After he passed away, we had Sterling up there a lot, and I felt like that was he was like our little brother. I mean, we took him in. Practices, ate with us.
That's a storybook right there.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah.
Funny story is Derrick Shepard came and picked me up on my recruiting trip from the airport. I got off the airplane. It's like 30 degrees. I got off the airplane with shorts, and I was like, they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Man, I came from Texas. It was like 80 degrees."
Yeah. But
he let me use his trench coat actually for the whole trip. it kind of let me know what kind of person he was. You
Yeah.
know, even though I didn't get to be
solid.
here with, you know what I mean?
Yep.
He really, I was like, wow.
Yep.
That's a.
And so, you know, being able to, you know, have Sterling around and just, I mean, that just the bond and the family and brotherhood of OU former players and current players, and to watch, you know, Sterling go through high school and then go to OU and just, you know, shine there, and now he's, you know, shining in the NFL. I mean, I just personally, I mean, to be able to be there to watch him grow as a young kid into the man he is now it was awesome, you know. So
yeah, for real, that's real. Roof, what you got?
You should ask me that one. You should ask that one last. At Diet Adam asks, who had the worst fans to play in front of?
oh shit.
If y'all want to comment on it, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's to me, it's a tie to Texas Tech and OSU, man. I mean, OSU threw batteries at.
I think just because they fans are so close,
man.
both
It's
of those
terrible.
stadiums, the fans are like,
And they was
right
there before the damn game.
Yeah.
The student section was there before the game. When we walk out in sweats, you know what I'm saying? They out all throwing tortillas.
Drunk.
Yeah, the game Rashad Woods got wide off on. I mean, I remember that game. That's why I hate going to Stillwater, hate OSU for that reason. They threw batteries. They hit who they hit? Lynn Magruder with a battery. And Bobo was about to go up in the stands. Police had to stop him from going up in the stands. And
battery.
Yeah,
crazy.
and I mean, we would be in the defensive huddle. The guy had a cowbell, ringing a cowbell in the middle of it, and they hanging right over in the middle of it. I mean, it was just, they were close. They were rude. They knew everything about everybody. It was saying some stuff to Dusty about, hey, Dusty, you gonna come steal my keg, and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. It was just, it was a crazy, atmosphere. I mean, but I really didn't like going to Stillwater. I mean, it was just one of the worst places to go, as well as Lubbock. Lubbock is have to be right up 1A and 1B, man, because Lubbock, they was throwing tortillas. It's just, I don't know, man. It was the worst. I think Stillwater too. Whenever we got off the bus, smelled like pig. That pig shit. Right when you come off, burn the hair nostrils. I mean, right when you came off, it just stunk. So that's why Stillwater be mine.
And then I think, man, that Holiday Inn we stayed in Stillwater used to butcher our food before the game, fam. It was terrible. Anyway, let's go on. We got a special subject. Obviously, lost a teammate, Brandon Everidge, very, very near and dear to all of us, man. I mean, circumstances being what they are. Strait, if you don't mind, tell us a little book story.
Me and Book got, man, so many, because we came in together as red shirts. He was a quarterback. I was an athlete, I guess they said. But he used to be a quarterback over there practicing with Josh Hype and them. But his nails used to be like so. I don't know why he kept his nails so long. So every time he threw the ball, all you heard was that. But he could. Everybody know he could throw that ball though. He could spin it. But once I was like, "Book, why you keep your nails so long?" He's like, "Man, I don't know. I just like it like that." I was like, But you know, if you know Book, you can't explain half the shit that he do out there. But it get done. Whatever it is, it get done though.
Yeah. What you got, Roy? I know you got something up your sleeve.
You know, I mean, Book was a special player, man. You know, I remember all the time Coach Ship, they would send Coach Ship to go get Book in morning workouts because Book would not get up. He would be asleep in his room, and Book did not want to work out. That was one. But two, I mean, it was just him just being on the football field and watching him. It's not that, how can I say this and not sound crazy? I would feed off a Book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think most of them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, and
absolutely.
it's just, it wasn't that I needed that, but it was just one of those,
It was comforting to have.
It's about
Absolutely.
we about to get it on. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those deals. I would look at him. He had that look in his eye, and it was just like, you know what?
You knew he came to play.
Yeah, you knew he came to play, and it was one of those feelings like, if you ever made a special play and you looked up and you seen a family member there, and you're just like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the look I always
a genuine,
got. Yeah, it's like a genuine love, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what every time I think about Book, that's all I think about. I mean, he was a dude. I seen this dude get bent up like a pretzel, ankle all just crazy.
Jamar Toombs?
You know what I mean? No, not even Toombs. It was Air Force. I think it was an Air Force game
Air
or whatever
Force.
game. I mean,
They have
ankle.
that thick grass
Yeah,
out
you know
there.
what I mean. Wrapped up that ankle and got back on the football field. And I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? I would anything this dude needs from me, I'm there for him. You know what I mean? It's just like, how can you not want to suit up and play with a guy like that comes on the football? He's playing hurt. You know what I mean? Book played hurt damn near
Every
game,
every practice.
I would pop his shoulder out.
Yeah.
Man, I see pop his shoulder out, come to the sideline, Jim will pop it back in, boop, right back out.
Right back out.
Yeah.
Didn't skip a beat.
What you got, Rue?
I mean, famous book word, I mean, my thing, like Roy said, I mean, was his attitude and his approach to the game.
Yeah.
Watching him play from the sideline, whenever he made a play, everybody knew. He has so much emotion, so much passion for the game. And I played with passion in high school, but watching him do it whenever I got on the field, I'm like, damn, I want to play like that dude's doing when he's out there. Whenever all the plays he made, Seneca Wallace came in there as a Heisman Trophy.
Shut him down.
Yeah.
And man had I forgot how many tackles, but had interception after interception, and he was just putting people out. Mm-hmm. And man, every time, he would jump up. He would headbutt everybody. Yeah. He was just the ultimate
It was contagious.
It was contagious.
Yeah.
And whenever I got on the field, it was like, I want to do the same thing. I want to play just like that dude played. Because he can tell he loved the game. He loved everybody he played with.
Yeah.
And he gave it all he had.
Yeah.
And another story I got is, remember when he came back from one summer and he was running ramps. That boy Book stood at the middle level, and when everybody came back down, he ran back down, and he was just doing that huffing and puffing like he was really running. He did it the whole time, and then they told Book, "Hey, Book, you gotta stay. You gotta do these ramps." Shit, that's all he said. And he dipped off.
It's crazy that he even attempted to try to do that again because he got caught. When I was there,
that was his thing. That's why he used to put Coach Ed halfway up there because like, you know what, we ain't doing no more.
Dude, just get it over with, dog. You know what I mean? The one thing I hated was gassers. That was the only thing I hated doing when it came to running. I can do the hills with the sled. I can do the ramps. I can do the stadium stairs. But when it came to doing those gassers,
over.
Hey, come back in.
Come back at 3, big dog.
Come see me.
So my deal with Book, I didn't even know him really. First of all,
big name for everybody.
That boy James Durrell. What up, James Durrell? My name is James Douglas.
Boy coming Rufy Red.
Oh, Chief Ronnie Stromboni. Oh, you like what?
Always.
Out of anywhere.
You need Jason Carter candy.
Yeah. Oh, young kid. That was my roommate. We need to have him on. But the Book story. I really didn't know Book, and I worked out in your group before I got there, and I actually got to play as a true freshman. Well, the first time I remember seeing him was like right before the Tulsa game, and y'all know Book, man. You see Book with his shirt off, you like, I don't know, is this dude elite? Like what? No, you're right. No, not at all. But hear me out. So it's before Tulsa, and we on the AstroTurf, and man, Book, you talked about him throwing. Man, Book pick up a damn football, 50 yards. I'm like, okay. But then he punt that hoe, and it was 50 yards, and I'm like, damn. Then he put it on the tee, kicks the bitch off, 30, 50, 40. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, this dude is a super, super athlete. So, the first year goes by, and then the second year, I think I played that Iowa State game was our freshman year. And then the sophomore year, when we came back, y'all going to love this one. Fam, do y'all remember when we got on the plane for Bama, right? You know how time consume, or Bob. If the plane leaves at 2, Roy, the plane leaves at 1:59. I mean, you in there, anybody, fam. We sitting in the plane at 2:00, 2:15, 2:30. We looking around like, what are we waiting on, fam? Book walk on in a and it's it's business. It's supposed to be professional. Yeah, everybody's supposed to have slacks in the polo, right? Book walk on in damn jeans and a Coogee shirt. You know what I'm saying?
That was Book.
45 minutes late. We take off, we go down, we beat Bama. And the week before Strait, Bob didn't let him be a captain. You remember that? Yeah. And we went down to Bama, and this dude, late, he had got pulled over for some bullshit in here in Norman. So he gets pulled over, open container or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
Bob takes him down there. We hear nothing about it, Roy. We get back to the first team meeting the following, and he's just talking up Book and blah, 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 blah. And he said, you know what? I wasn't going to leave Bama without Book. And I tell y'all what, since I wasn't going to leave him, he's a damn captain now. And everybody just went crazy, dog. Did you remember that? No, it was crazy. It was just so crazy to see that one person. And that was where, you know, and y'all could probably attest to this, but, you know, 5 stars are treated differently. But that was one point where that was the only dude that I saw at that point that was not a 5-star that was treated differently. Straight up. There nobody else, anybody. Dog, we back in Norman watching that game game while everybody else in Tuscaloosa. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, so let's switch. That was a good story. Let's go to recruiting. Straight, how much do you follow recruiting now?
Not too much. I like to see them once they here and, you know what I mean, signed and done and all of that stuff. But I'm excited about to see how the defenses and stuff, basically how the defensive stuff is going to pan out in the spring game and all that. Because just to see the way, if they have better chemistry or playing faster out there, because that's all you want out of a defense. And they didn't look like they was playing fast last year. So I just hope Grinch get them to that level. Or at least they look like, okay, now we're getting, you know, somebody is looking like, all right, we could get out there and D up somebody, finally.
Roy, how close you follow?
I don't.
Recruiting,
I don't, because it's like, I don't want to get emotionally invested in it, and if something doesn't go right, then I'm all, you know what I'm saying, you get all hurt.
The
you know what I mean?
switch
It's
their
like,
minds.
I mean, it's like, I don't. I know of some of the guys that they're, you know, possibly wanting to get because I'm up there and talking to some of the folks. But I mean, just to piggyback off of D Strait, it's like, you know, you hope that they get back to the point of playing worry free. Yeah. You know what I mean, and just flying around and having fun. You know what I mean, and it's just. They're not there yet, and I don't know what's going to get them over the top. I mean, it's totally different from when we played. We didn't have social media, you know what I mean? People telling you how good you are or are not, you know what I mean? So, and just another thing that piggy off Rufus is, you know, as a fan, you don't feel right picking on some of the kids that are playing because you feel like you're an adult and they're just a child. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you want to give that heat to a coach or something. So I mean, sometimes you just got to call a spade for spade. If a fool ain't playing right, then the guy ain't playing right. You know what I mean? There's guys that get beat on this team currently, and they hang their head, and then they ain't worth the plum nickel. Back when I played, you give up a play, you take it personal, like, you know, I'm not gonna let that happen again. My bad.
You know, I gave up that 6, that slang goal. I'm like, I did that. That's on me. Yeah, I gotta make that back up for the team.
I mean, and that's all about being accountable. You know what I mean? And there's a lack in the locker room of people being accountable.
Yeah. Roof, what you think? Recruiting.
I mean, I don't follow it. I mean, I retweet whenever somebody, you know, gets or whatever. I mean, but I don't.
He's a tweeter,
yeah. You know, I don't follow it to, you know, say, hey, this guy's coming, he's going to be special or whatever, because you want to see what somebody's going to do whenever they come, when they get here, because you understand that monster when you get there and have to go through the workouts and all that stuff. Because, like, I remember when I came, and, I mean, I went through the whole summer, worked out with Coach Ed, and, I mean, I remember straightening those guys, killing it in the weight room. I remember guys doing box jumps that was just out of this world. I remember getting beaten sprints by Tommy and
what's going on? 60 pounds on you.
I mean, after a while, Jamal Brown was beating me down the field, and he was an offensive lineman, and I couldn't keep up with that guy. And I'm just like, you know, I'm never gonna put it on a guy to come into college and be like, oh, you know, I'm looking for this guy or whatever. I wait to see what they do once they get on the field and how they react to the environment and what's coming, and you understand if he a dog and he gonna bite back, or if he gonna be one of the ones that
tuck his tail.
Gonna tuck his
because
tail.
those stars don't mean shit. Really.
Shit.
Once you get to college, none of that shit matters. Just like in the league, when you get to the league,
straight up,
that shit in college don't mean nothing. But at the same time, you gotta want to be it. If you in college, you fighting for. You should be fighting for a team, but
you gotta be. And what I learned was you gotta be about that life. And the only guy I ever seen that came in as a recruit, and I said, man, I'm gonna wait till he get here to see what he's talking about, and that was Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And I watched that man run out there in the workouts, and he did that workout. He walked out, he said, that's it? And I said, oh, shit. I said, that dude, he about that. And then I watched that man make another man that came early go ahead and switch to the defensive side, and that was DJ Wolf. He was like, man, I ain't going to be able to play behind that guy. And he
Tashard Choice transfer.
Yeah, Tashard Choice transfer, go and play for the Cowboys for a while. Adrian Peterson was that type of guy, but I have not seen another guy like him come in and be able to do the things that he's done and, and mesh in with guys. And wasn't even about him. He was a guy that came in and he fit in with the team.
I mean, we had just lost to LSU in the national championship the year before, so it wasn't like the team was garbage or nothing. It was just like
right. He fit in. He fit in with everybody, man. He was one of the most humble dudes that I've seen, and I've watched a bunch of superstars come in here and don't even humble themselves, and they come in and just think they the it thing, and they invented football, or like OU football needs them and stuff. And I saw a guy this year get humble. I mean, 5-star guy. You get humble out there on the field whenever you think you're more than what
between
you
them
really
lines
are.
don't lie though, man.
Yeah.
Don't lie out there.
So I follow it pretty close. Y'all know me. Obviously training.
Where we get our information from. What you mean?
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have in short, what Strait's talking about was we have a Facebook group, so it has over 400 former players in it. Proud to say I started, but I'm just proud that y'all are involved in it, man. I
don't have
proud.
a Facebook, man.
I know you don't. Yeah. So I'll just screenshot it to you, but I really am. I really do thank y'all for being involved. And then I got into training a few years back. I've helped about 5 kids that I count on the roster that are on OU. 3 of them, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. 3 of them were linemen, and they already had it set. One lineman, I really, really helped, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. And then one, you brought up Adrian, but one of the tailbacks from Millwood, I worked with this year, and I don't even know if I've talked to you about that straight, but he reminded me a lot of AD.
I remember when I went to your gym.
Yeah. Okay.
You had to work out.
The kid just is explosive. Obviously the OU coaches saw the same thing I saw, but he got offered by everywhere in the country. But I think just, again, my thing, and it'll lead into my next question. I always, people, a workout's a workout, but I always bring them kids. When my thing is I wanted to get Marcus around Adrian. Yeah. I want to get Logan around Bronson Irwin at the time. I want to get them around guys that have been there, that understood. So to my next question, it's 2 questions. 1, how important is experience for you? And 2, what does OU mean to you?
Experience is very important because, like I said, it's no better learning curve than experience because you used to it when you're out there. If you out there and been through the situation with the players or whoever it may be, then you're better off with the situation because you're ready for it and you know how to handle it. And to what was it?
Second question. Damn.
Oh, it means a lot because OU was it actually gave me a start. Like I said, I never played cornerback until I got up to OU. Actually, Mike Stoops taught me everything about corners, so everything I learned pretty much is what he said. It was concrete for me because I didn't have to change anything. You know what I mean? So as far as that, Oklahoma means the world to me because actually it gave me an opportunity to come to school, to get a degree and all of that, but to play with a great bunch of guys like y'all and everybody, and just to be a part of the tradition of OU is special in itself, actually.
Yeah, Roy, what you think?
What was the first one?
Yeah, that's all like.
Damn, you making me forget. I'm just over here zoned the hell out.
Yeah.
What was the first one, Rue?
It was experience. How much
experience? Thank you.
Oh, so experience. I feel that experience is the greatest teacher of it all. Especially being an athlete. It honestly depends on the pedigree of the person. If you have that dog in you, and you don't, and you're competitive, and you want to take your game to the next level, your losses on the field will become wins with the experience because you know what people are going to try to attack, and you're going to involve and be better. The experience is most definitely key, honestly, the experience should not only be your experience. It should be an experience of people watching you on how you prepare for the game. Yeah. And then what does OU mean to me? OU means a lot. I love my university. Regardless of who the coach is or not, this university has a lot of me to, be able to, grow me into, I feel a decent human being. And I mean, it means so much to me that I mean, I'm a 2-time donor. You know what I'm saying, to the university. You know, and and it means a lot to me because it's not even about the money. It's about the fact that I have the opportunity to be able to pour back into my school. You know what I mean? So that's.
Rufus, what's your thoughts?
I mean, experience-wise, I mean, like these guys saying, man, it's everything because playing in high school, I had to earn and get everything that I got. I never played linebacker until I got to the University of Oklahoma. I mean, Coach Venables, like, straight. I mean, I learned linebacker from him, and everything I learned and picked up was from guys that was here. The experiences that I got from guys that were playing, the attitude that Brandon Everidge went about playing the game and how he played it. That was an experience for me that I took to heart whenever I was able to step on the field. The way guys went about learning the game and took their craft serious. And the weight room and the film room, and I learned a lot from Teddy, Gayron, Lance Mitchell, and the way they approached the game and their how they kept on working on their craft and how they stayed after they did like a 2-hour workout, would stay and do ball drills and catch tennis balls and do all this stuff on the jugs and stuff. And you're like, man, you know, if you're gonna be serious about doing it, I mean, you gotta learn, you gotta have that guy that's that dog that'll make everybody else join in and want to be great at what they're doing. Yeah. And that's what, for me, my experience was that. And I mean, the reason I came to OU was because of that, because my recruiting trip wasn't nothing special. I mean, nobody was here. It was whenever y'all was getting ready to play against Arkansas. And it was the everybody went home for Christmas, so it was it was just us. It was just the guys, man, and that's what really. That's why I came here. Is just because I mean it was about football, and I just liked the coaching staff, and it was all about ball for me. I didn't know nothing about the university at that point in time, but it was about. I mean, again, it was really about the guys. And Gayron Allen shot me straight. Yeah. Whenever I came on my recruiting trip, he said, "Man, this shit gonna be tough, dog."
Yep.
He said it's hard, man. It's hard. Workout's hard. You grind every day. Coaches are tough. Yeah. I mean, he was an honest dude, and I just like, you know what? My high school coach was like that. I earned everything I got. And Coach Venables told me, if you want to come here, he said, I'm gonna recruit every day to replace you. And if you come out here at OU and you compete and play on the field at OU, you can play anywhere. You can play with anybody in the country. You can play in the NFL. And he didn't speak any truer words that day. And I decided to come here. What OU means to me, I mean, like a lot of these guys say, man, it's not even about the coach that's here. It's about the guys that come in and if they ever buy into the culture and what OU is and what it stands for, and the people that came here before you. I mean, I had the privilege of meeting George Cumbie and sitting down and talk with him. I've done camps with him and sit down and he's a really good, great human being, man, and he was a really good dude. I mean, I've done things with Thomas Lott, and that was guys that played years before I played, man, and it's cool. And when I got to campus, got to talk to Jackie Shipp, and he would tell me stuff about playing and about linebacker, and he wasn't even my coach. So I've gotten around a lot of older guys that, Dewey Salmon would sit there and talk to me. He was like, man, he would tell me things, you should really get into coaching and stuff. You have a good presence around kids. You talk to kids the right way. I mean, Steve Owens helped me with my business. And he, like I said, it's really a family whenever you get around all the other guys. Yeah. And from those guys really helped me with my life after football, with business and stuff, and what I want to do with getting commercial deals or whatever. And it's always a guy's brain you can pick and things. So OU just means the world to me, man. I got my family's here. I came back here after football. I'm around the program. I try to talk to some of them young kids and tell them, hey, man, you have to really buy into the environment of what OU is, and it'll mean a whole lot more to you. Yeah. Whenever you get on the field. You'll end up loving playing football for the people that's in the stands. Even though they're hard on you, they're critics of you, but, man, they just want to win at football. At the end of the day, all they want to do is win and want to be a part of a championship, a championship organization and a championship school. And the guys before me showed us how to do it. I mean, Derrick Strait, Roy, Book. You go on down the line. Tommy, all those guys showed us how to win. So when we stepped on the field, we knew what the hell to do. Yeah. They had guys that showed before me. Like Curtis Lofton was behind me, and there was things I would sit there and tell Curtis. was things that Gayron and all those guys told me, and so it just kind of melted over, and you learn, those guys learn how to lead other guys, because you have to leave an imprint on the younger guys.
Yeah.
And if you ain't leaving shit at the end of the day, the reason I think the defense as well is at a position where it's at, because nobody's leaving back anything that's leaving here from the defensive side. Yeah. Nobody's investing in the guy that's behind him and teaching him shit, and that guy can say, well, I can follow his lead because he's doing it right, because right now nobody's doing anything right. They're not covering it, not tackling it, not doing anything. So they got to invest in this university and understand what was there before them and what right now defensively what they're tarnishing. I think for me, that's what I say. What they messing up is they don't realize what this university used to be defensively to really kind of let it sink into their head.
Because that's the part that defense.
Absolutely. Got to have it. A few more questions and we'll get up out of here. But and I want to say thank you to Roy. What you talked about, my visit was a month after yours. Roy was back. He's about to go top 10 and back taking us to basketball games, telling us to get ready for workouts and how hard the shit was going to be. Nobody was partying. And it was real. So let's end with this. Who taught you? You brought it up kind of, so you kind of answered it. But who taught you at OU? And do you have any advice to future Sooners?
Who you mean taught?
So like what players did you look up to?
What was it? Pee Wee Woods and Mike Woods. They was my guys that was here. They was the two seniors that was here. Pee Wee, Mike, Marvin Shoulders, Brent Jones. You know what I'm talking about? Ante. You know, all of those guys were still there, and with Roy, and you know what I mean. So it was like, it was a mixture of kind of older and new, but everybody was at that age where it was like, you know, let's get on the same page and do this shit together. So it got to the point where it was like, it doesn't matter who's out there, but we're going to have the best out there, and we need you to do this, your job, to keep, you know what I mean, to keep all of us together, and shit, that shit worked.
Advice to future Sooners, what you got?
Be coachable, basically. That's if you're coachable, then the sky's the limit, because you forever be changing your craft, and it's always something all of us can learn. Like, you never stop learning. You should never stop learning, so just be coachable.
What you got, Roy?
I would say, all the DBs, of course. I learned, I think some of the best advice that I ever got was from Ghana Joseph.
Yeah. Ghana.
And he, because I was playing in 98, and I had 2 stretch fractures in my lower back, and he told me I was getting ready to come back, and if I'd have came back, I'd have used up a year of eligibility. And he was like, Roy, you should just take the red shirt, because who knows if Blake is going to be here. And so I listened to him, of course. He was an older guy. Yeah. This OG, so might as well listen. So, I redshirted, and sure enough, got rid of Blake. And then I had all my years with Bob, and I think that was, very important, because, if it could have went totally disastrous if I didn't, And so I would say Ghana Joseph, of course, Ante Jones, Torrance, Rocky, Jeremy Guess, Corey Collins, Ramon Richardson, Marcus Cretion.
Rocky B. Bright.
Yeah, Rocky. Yeah. There was so many. It was just so much wisdom on that team of people that have lived life and has done it before me. I was fortunate enough to come in a situation where we weren't good, and then we started seeing success, and then and then everybody started buying in, and everybody that bond, everybody formed that bond. So it was, that. Those are, damn near the whole team, even the offensive guys. Little Mike Skinner. Mike Thornton. You know what I mean? Little Mike Thornton, dude, he's like 5'2". You know what I'm saying? He was a beast. You know what I mean? No lie. There were just so many different. We had so many different characters that, that I was able to take a piece of their game and their knowledge and put it into mine. And it's so funny, because it's like, I wasn't scared, but I never wanted to be one of the first people running out the tunnel. Mm-hmm. I was always in the back. I literally was. I was like, nah. I don't even want this attention. You know what I mean? I would always be in the back. Hell, I was a captain, and I never did. I never went out on the field for the coin toss. You know what I mean? I was just a different type of dude. I didn't want that attention. I just wanted to play football.
That's how I got. You know what I'm saying? Because after he left, it was like me and Book now was supposedly, but I always was looking up to Roy, because it was like, like you said, you don't have to be out there rah-rahing and all of that shit. If you go out there and do what you're supposed to do, the way you're supposed to do it, then it's going to speak for itself.
Take care of itself. And then for the young recruits coming in, I mean, yes, be coachable, understand the legacy. You know what I'm saying? Do enjoy the process. You know what I mean? And then when you make the decision on wanting to come to OU, I mean, invest in it. You know what I'm saying? Understand the legacy, which, you know what I'm saying, that you're getting ready to join. And then picture yourself being a part of this legacy. And what imprint are you going to leave? Are you going to leave this university better than you came in? Or are you going to leave it worse? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's literally, I mean, do you want to add, you know, another national championship, or you don't? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you coming here for? You know, so when you make that decision, then sell all out. You know what I mean? Don't get comfortable in being mediocre.
No doubt. What you think, Ruth?
Which part?
Both advice and you know, just everything. What you think?
I mean, I learned from a lot of different guys, man. Like I'm with a lot of these guys. Like, we watch a lot of old films on watching Torrance play and watching Rocky play and watching the way those guys approach the game and how they play downhill and attack football. I learned a lot from Teddy. You know, just like I said, the learning, the film study. I watched from book, learning how to be the attitude of how to play this game sometimes. Somebody got to be an enforcer on the field. So if you don't have that guy that's the enforcer, then you're going to get ran over. So you have to have that guy you look up to. Jackie Shipp, you know, you get the knowledge from him. I mean, one thing I learned from Jackie Shipp is how the linebacker helps out the defensive line. I mean, getting the double teams off of him and all that. I mean, although his approach on how he got it to me was a little different. I mean, he cussed me out like, hey, where the hell you at?
Yeah.
But, you know, my defensive lineman want to make a tackle too, so what the hell you waiting on? He can't hold the guy all day. So you learn different things and you piece everything together. And then the chess part of football I learned from Coach Venables, man. He was a chess player out there, and he picked up on every little sign and look at cues and different things, alignment, what guys do when they out of position, they're doing things different. That's what I mean. Like I said, if you come to OU, you learning from a lot of guys, and you have to soak up all the knowledge, and you can't be sensitive to getting this knowledge because guys, there's guys before you that built this, and for the incoming guys, again, OU gonna be here whenever you leave. Yeah. There were great players that were there before you came here, so you have to come in and really want to be a part of this and soak up this knowledge and want to be that guy. And the hardest thing about getting into college is waiting your time and learning from somebody else. Everybody wants to come in and be a know-it-all, and I had all these stars and stuff in high school, and I was the guy. You have to learn that maybe you were the man at your high school, but you come into college, all of a sudden you ain't the man no more. Everybody that's come in here was the man, especially at OU. They were the man at their high school. They were the dominant. They were the dominant player at their high school. And so when you come into college, you're no longer the most dominant player anymore, because there's guys in here that's gonna hit you in the mouth. If you're a big time running back, there's linebackers that's 250 pounds that's about to hit you. There's defensive linemen that's about to get at you. If you're the top offensive lineman, there's a Dusty Dvorak that's in there pushing you in the backfield, or a Tommy Harris you got to block. Or you have to block a Dan Cody. If you're a big-time wide receiver, there's a Derrick Strait over there jamming you up on the line. How the hell you going to learn how to start doing that? You got a Roy Williams hitting you in the mouth in a spring game out there, and they throw you the ball in the flat, and he out there putting that hand on.
Stop playing.
So you're going to know, like, you're going to learn soon. You're like, man, damn. Them boys they're hitting. One, they hitting, and two is like, shit. Either I'm gonna fold, or I'm gonna get up and get on my P's and Q's and learn how to play this game and be a student of the game. And the biggest thing is being a student of the game. Yeah. If you want to play this game, you're gonna have to learn. Athletic ability is out of the window whenever you get here. You could be a super athlete and never ever see the field because you don't have the knowledge to play the game. Yeah. And I watched plenty of guys come here that were superstars. Michael Hawkins. Oh, man. So many guys that came here that were superstars that had all the talent but didn't want to work, didn't want to put in the time at all. And that'll hurt your career before you even get started.
Yeah, I'm seeing some guys, Trent Smith, Lance Donnelly, Chris Chester. I don't think was here yet, but those guys really helped me. A bunch of coaches.
Has the longest career out of everybody.
Yeah, how about that? Straight's over here twitching because we showing the 2000 Nebraska game.
I just got burnt.
It happens because you're going to make the other play. But, hey, we got to go quick. My producer's got a movie to get to. But, hey, we got to end with a Schmitty story. What's up with the Smitty story, Straight?
Me and Smitty, we always had a good arrangement, man. I always made my times, and he always let me go. So I didn't make my time one time because I fucked around and ate drunk a 7-Eleven slushie on the way up there, fucking around. You know what I'm talking about?
Lost.
Got up there, and took that L. Everybody looking like, Straight, what you doing? I'm like, man, I'm no good. I'm no good, Smitty.
No, nothing, Roy? You just going to end it like that?
I mean,
nothing nice to say. Don't say nothing at all.
No, I love Schmitty. No, I love Schmitty to death. I mean, Schmitty was the person that called me and was like, hey, would you mind, donating back to the school and, investing in it? You know what I'm saying? Your guys' the weight room
I hate you
stuff.
for that.
So, I love Schmitty. It was just, like I said before, the only thing that I did not like was gassers. Yeah. And he would just come up behind me and be like, hey, I'll see you later on because you got to come back. And then you got to run 40 gassers. Yeah. Like, what? Or down and backs. Like, whoa. You know what I mean? But, no, I love Schmitty to death, man. Smitty's the homie.
Roof, what you got? I know you was a workout warrior, though.
I was a workout warrior, but, man, coming to my junior and senior year, it was like there's nothing I can do that was good enough, but
nope.
The stories for Schmitty, man. Like I said, I remember whenever Hakeem Millington came in, and he was an offensive lineman, 300 pounds, and he put 145 on the bar, and Hakeem Millington couldn't get it, and he said, "Damn, big dog, you 300 pounds? You can't get 135? Get up."
You out of there.
Man, get up and get out, man. And it was like that, man. Man, Schmitty was that guy that would tell you go home, man. Yeah. I've never seen grown men break down until the day whenever you walk in and you get done with the first half of workouts, and he said it's not good enough. Leave, please. And everybody's like, Schmitty, no!
Please!
But tell the truth, though, let that next group come in. When they come in, they see your face, like what they looking like.
Y'all ain't gonna make it.
Come on, bro! I ain't even got in the building yet.
Y'all ain't gonna make it. It's funny because it's sad. It's real shit.
It got to the point where Schmitty would hold the other group in the
so he couldn't tell you.
Tell the other guys what they had to do, man. It was like psychological warfare.
It was.
And whenever you walking out, he would send you out and tell you, hurry up and get out. Get out and leave. And everybody walking in, man, what is talking about? What is talking about? Yeah. Shit. And like if your head's down.
It's the nonverbals. If they come out energetic, hey, you good, don't worry about it. Oh shit, yeah, we straight today.
The only thing you gotta say to JD if you know he gonna make it, decline abs, man. What abs we got? Decline. You see
it's over. It's over.
It's done. I know JD gonna give it to me. He's gonna let the ball go, hit the wall, he's gonna give me my break that I need. And JD gonna have to leave at some point.
It's over.
He'll just keep on running it up.
The craziest thing is you never know like who's your guy whenever you know how competitive you are or whenever guys really want to make it and they tell you messing up the whole group, they gonna say, hey man, just go ahead and leave.
We need you to go.
Man. You gotta go ahead and get out, man. Just leave, man. Well, and come back and do it.
Bird or Tib better not. Coach Thibodeau better not be laughing because as long as he was already on decline, but as soon as we laid on the flat turf, he was out. Cramping up.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I thank y'all All-Americans, man. We got to wrap this up. This one. Hey, we got to do this again. We got to do this again. Part 2? All right, hey, you heard it. Fullback U Part 2 coming up. Appreciate y'all.
Yep.